Last 5 seconds. Ready? Yes. Start. Sir, on behalf of my colleague Dr. Jitendra Singh, I move that the bill further to amend the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946 as passed by Lok Sabha be taken into consideration. Sir, the rationale behind this bill requires a little explanation. This House had debated at length the Lokpal bill, and in the Lokpal bill there were two specific provisions. One was seeking to introduce a provision for the appointment of the Lokpal and the members of the Lokpal. In the same bill, corresponding arrangements were also made to the CVC law as also to the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. The Delhi Special Police Establishment Act is a legislation of 1946. Under our constitution, law and order is a state subject. So a question had arisen: what would happen to the employees of the central government if there were areas of charges against an employee of the central government? In view of the federal structure which we were creating, will a state police go into the conduct of the employee of a central government? Now, this was considered as contrary to federal principles. So initially the central government must have its own police force, and this police force was only to investigate cases against public servants who were employees of the central government. Thereafter, the jurisdiction expanded and the CBI was created by this Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. This was the rationale behind the act. Thereafter, it expanded, and besides cases of corruption and criminal misconduct against employees of the central government, the CBI started investigating other cases that were also assigned to it. Then a question arose: can the CBI, being a police force of the central government, investigate cases in relation to a state? So a special power has been given under that act, and that he can do it, but the consent of the state is necessary because federal principles come into force. The Supreme Court, through its constitution bench, brought one change in the law that you require the consent of the state if there is some incident in the state to get the CBI to investigate. But in case of a high court or the Supreme Court, pursuant to its constituent power, that is article 226 and article 32, directs that a case be investigated by the CBI, then even if it is a case of a state, they do not need to consent of the state. Now people have made comments at various times that this is contrary to the federal principle, because if constituent power of the court is a constitutional power, the federalism is also a constitutional power. But that is not the debate that we are concerned with. Sir, I am extremely grateful to the honorable members who have by and large supported this bill and raised some issues of legitimate concern. India needs a professional, independent, fair and a balanced CBI. My friend from Trinamool Congress was right when he said that I have also written extensively on this subject myself in the past, that our experience has not been the best experience. Therefore, the idea is that even when there is no recognized leader of the opposition, we must have a representative of the opposition as a part of the collegium that appoints. That is the motivating idea which is prompting this. This is the part of the CBI reform. Some other reforms in the functioning are in the Lokpal Act itself, which all of us have almost unanimously approved. Therefore, the first motivation behind this bill is that the CBI should not be a partisan agency. It must be a fair agency, and there must be participation of the member of the opposition in the appointment of the CBI director. As far as the language is concerned, I myself, along with the concerned officials and the Minister for Department of Personnel, Dr. Jitendra Singh, went through the language of each one of them. I must say that considering the way we draft our legislation, at times we make very bona fide errors. For instance, Sri Anand Sharma and others refer to the CVC committee, whereas others use the words recognized leader of the opposition as recognized. The RTI refers to the words leaders of the single largest group. Now, is the group same as a political party? Now, one suggestion was that we should use the word group. The largest party in this case in opposition is the Congress party, but let us assume the AID MK and the Tribunal Congress join hands to form a group, then it is their representative who would have come. And at the same stage, the suggestion which has been made that all this language must be identical, that has to be there. Now why was the word absence put in? That is the core question. A vacancy can arise, but in the case of Chief Justice of India there will never be a vacancy because there will be an officiating Chief Justice. Similarly, the Prime Minister always has to be there. Rational, the fundamental reason or logic behind something. Sir, the object of both the bills, that is the Merchant Shipping Amendment Bill 2013 and the Merchant Shipping Second Amendment Bill 2013, is laudable. I would like to talk on the Second Amendment Bill first, as the basic objective in the statement of objects and reasons says India intends to accede to the International Labour Organization's Instrument C-186 known as Maritime Labour Convention 2006. This convention provides for international standards for the living and working conditions of seafarers, including their food, accommodation, medical care, repatriation, social security and recruitment. Mr. Minister, if you wish to change the term seafarers and use sea persons instead, that is welcome. You said that you would like to seafarers to be referred to as sea persons. I don't think it is mentioned here unless it is there in the amendment. The second bill talks about the hazardous paint used in ships. A change in the paint to be used as per international norms is welcome too. Now sir, talking about the Merchant Shipping Bill, there are several issues that concern seafarers who go out to the sea. Goa is a coastal state just like Kerala. Many people go on board ships and the problems they face are tremendous. They are being involved by one, step by step, by respective governments. We had this bill earlier too. The main problem is the hijacking of ships. The young boys put their lives in danger, especially when they travel via Somalia and regions closer. Seafarers remain in the custody of hijackers for months together and suffer humiliation and torture at their hands. Thereafter, ways and means were worked out by various countries and international bodies have come together to protect the ships whenever they are attacked. Therefore, it is the duty of the respective country as also the shipping company of and the government of India to come together and remain alert when hijacking occurs. I have found many times that the Director General of Shipping is not much concerned too. As such times, they must contact the families and tell them about the status of the crew or seafarers, because when you do so, the family members feel consoled. If nobody bothers to pass the information, it hurts them. They feel hurt to think that they sent their family members to the ships to earn a livelihood, but when some such thing happens, nobody cares. Stop.